how much equipment do you actually need to start RVing or to live in a fifth wheel? This is a question that my husband and I are trying to answer. So we actually just purchased our first fifth wheel on Saturday. We closed. The fifth wheel that we bought only came with like the power cord and then the little hand crank to open and close the slides if you were to lose power or something and you need to open or close them. It didn't come with any hoses, water filters, like nothing. So we kind of quickly realized, oh, there's quite a bit of stuff that we need to buy before we could even take this thing out and use it. We picked it up in New Braunfels. We took it immediately to covered parking. So anyways, I'm gonna go through today everything that we bought, again, as first-time RVers. And if you stumble across this video and you've done this before, we would love your feedback. Did we get too much? Did we not get enough? So we'd love to hear your thoughts. Again, all this stuff is based on kind of research that we've done, just videos that we've watched, we've read, articles about it. We have a friend who's done this before, so just talking with him. So we're trying to gather as much data as we can here, but again, this is totally our first time doing this. So I'm going to kind of go through everything that we got, and I'll pop the prices up on the screen. At the end, we'll total everything and see. So like literally just to take this thing out and be able to use it, like how much did we have to put into it outside of purchasing the RV? So yeah, I'll go through things one by one. So first of all, we got hoses. We bought 3 of these. I don't know that we'll end up using all 3 every time, but I know there's going to be like a city water one and then like the drinking water one. So we got several of these hoses. We also got the hose for the black tank. So this is how you empty your septic tank with this big black hose. We also got, I don't know what this is called, but this is the system where you can set this up basically, and then you can keep your septic line like hooked up. And so I think it just kind of empties as you go. I don't know that this thing would be necessary, but we've seen a lot of people use them in their videos, so we thought we would just give it a try. So the hose for the black tank, this. 2 things that we have that are still on the way. So we need, I think it's called a Y valve. We technically have 2 separate black tank systems because we've got 2 separate toilets in the RV. So we need a little Y valve, I think, to be able to empty both of them. And then the other thing that we're waiting on is our surge protector. I think we got I think it's called like Watchdog, I think is the brand. They're quite pricey. I think it's like $400, but I'll pop the price of that up on the screen too. So those things are still on the way, but we did get them. We also got a converter, like a power converter. So I think pretty much all campsites are either going to be 50 amps or 30 amps. I think our RV is a 50. So we would use this, from what I understand. If we were at a campsite with 30 amp, we'd have to do the converter so that, it could power our fifth wheel and not give us issues. We also got a water flow meter. So when you are going to empty your tanks, so let's say you stay somewhere for a couple of days, you're going to empty your tanks. You put this on because you have to flush the tanks out to kind of clean them out and empty them. You put this on so you know how much water you're putting into the tank, because if you don't put enough, you're not really getting things clean. If you put too much, you can like damage the system. Like we've literally watched videos of people like busting their tanks or like overflowing things. The water can also back up into the bathrooms if it's too full. So this will just tell you exactly how much water you put in to flush. We also have a water pressure regulator. So we've heard that, at some campsites, the water pressure is honestly like too high. And so it can actually damage your system if you hook up the water without having a regulator. We also got a tire pressure monitoring system. So this can be integrated into my husband's truck. We just bought a Chevy Silverado 3500 dually, which is what we're going to use to tow the fifth wheel. So if you put these monitors on each of the fifth wheel tires, then he can tell like inside the truck what the tire pressure on each tire is. So we felt like this would be worth it. So we got that. We got 2 of these water filters. So again, if you're using like city water, they say in most places, like you don't really want to drink that without filtering it. So we got this filter. We got 2 of these. I would love to hear from you guys. If you stumble across this video and you know anything about RVing, we have seen tons of people use this one. We've also seen like really fancy systems that are like, $1,000 or $1,500. So we don't really know, like, should we have gone more expensive with this, or is this like perfectly sufficient for what we need. So I don't really know the answer to that. We'd love to hear from you guys on that. If y'all use something different in this and what y'all would recommend. We also got, I think these are called shocks, I think is how you pronounce it. So basically you put this in between your tires and it keeps your tires from like rolling back and forth. So like if we're walking around in the RV, like, you know, the RV is gonna be a little bit wobbly, but I think this just helps. Like obviously you have like the feet that come down and stabilize things, but I think putting this between the tires helps to keep things more level as well. So a lot of people recommended this, but again, if y'all have any experience, we'd love to hear from you guys if y'all felt like this was worth the price or not. We also got some like leveling blocks. So like if you come up to a campsite and the ground is really unlevel, you can put these down to help kind of level things out. And again, just to make sure things are steady and not kind of wobbling. We see some people who use these like every time they stop, and then we see some people who don't use these at all. So again, love to hear y'all's thoughts on whether or not it's worth it to have these. That's everything for the exterior of the RV. We are going to do a couple things on the inside. We do want to upgrade mattresses. I think everything that's in there is what just came with the RV. Our fifth wheel is a 2023, so it's not super old, but again, we'd like to just update all of that. There are washer dryer hookups in there, but the first owners did not put those in. So right now I think we are planning to do that. It's going to be quite pricey because you have to buy the washer, the dryer, and then you have to have them installed. Basically, they have to poke a big old hole through the side of the RV to vent the dryer. So I think we're gonna have a professional come out and do that. People have told us it's really easy to do it ourselves, but I think us not punching holes in our own RV is probably a good plan. So we also may, right now there's like a table and chairs in there. We may end up putting in like a permanent dinette. I just think with kids, it's kind of nice that they can just have like the bench seats. And then if, you know, if they're being kids and they're standing and acting goofy, like I just feel a little bit better about that than if they're in like wobbly chairs. So those are the upgrades that we may do to the interior. We'd love to take this thing out in a couple of weeks. So we will need all the stuff that we've just talked about today. We will show you guys a tour of it. We can't do that right now. It's in covered parking as we speak, and there are two large metal beams on one side and a water tanker on the other side, and it's a very tight fit. We'll do a whole story time on our first experience trying to park this thing. The one that we got is 40 feet, so it is pretty big. But right now we are too close on both sides to like open the slides. We can't do that, and we also cannot open the door and put the ladder down to even get inside. So we are actually hopefully going to move it to a different spot tomorrow where I think we're going to have a little bit more room. Again, it was quite the adventure parking this thing for the first time. My husband has experience with like work trailers and stuff, but and again, we did do a bumper pull that I think was like 22 feet or something, but this thing is like almost double that size. And it's also on a gooseneck. So my husband, you know, doesn't have tons of experience with that setup. So yes, that was quite the adventure. We'll tell y'all about it in the video where we probably give y'all a tour of the inside. But anyways, this is what we got. Love to hear y'all's feedback on if we're missing anything that we really do need to get, or if any of this was overkill that we could like send it back. I'm gonna pop the total up on screen right here. So this is the total amount on just exterior equipment that we need to like take this thing camping and actually use all the things. So a little bit expensive to get started, not something we necessarily kind of thought through. I think we knew we needed stuff, but yeah, this price tag I think was a little like, okay, this is expensive. But we're super excited, and like I said, if we do end up taking a trip in a couple weeks, we'll definitely bring y'all along for the ride. But yeah, we're just super excited to get started. I think we're ready to go. We do have to sell our house here in Texas first. We just put it on the market a couple of days ago. But once that sells, we are ready to get this show on the road. So anyways, thank y'all for sticking around for the video. We'd love it if you'd like and subscribe to the channel. We're gonna plan to basically vlog our experience. We're gonna try to hit as many national parks as we can in the next 12 months, like once we start on the trip. So we will be documenting that whole thing. So if any of this is interesting to you guys, or you've ever thought about doing something like this, like I said, we'd love it if you'd like and subscribe to follow along, but we'll see you guys in the next one.